Hey everybody, how are you out there? This is the Elderly Brothers, episode 20, June 3, 2025. And if all you people are watching this in 2096, you won't recognize a thing. I'm Artie,
I'm Larry. I'm my credentials. We like to state are mine. I'm 82,
and we have limited credentials. I'm 89.
and we also wanted to ask for people if you watch, please put a share or like or something so we know you're out there.
And we know there's tens of thousands of you.
We're just that you're not all registering somehow.
Yeah, enjoying it, but not doing anything about it. What do you want to talk about today?
We could start with compassionate slaughter of beef.
Really?
Yeah, because there are people who practice compassionate slaughter of beef, and my question would be: do those beef know that they're being compassionately slaughtered?
I think that's a very good question. And I don't know how it's done. Do you?
I think it's sort of the same way they do non-compassionate slaughter, which is shoot them in the back of the head. But the lead up is better. They have a really nice ramp, and I don't know if they've got, stuff to eat and
On their way, you mean?
yeah, up to getting shot in the back of the head.
Is there art on the walls and stuff like that, you think?
There's music. I think they have music,
Probably so, yeah. The music that you would get at a acupuncturist, for example.
similar spa music kind of
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff to relax them. They feel good, and they're going up that ramp, and there's just another cow butt in front of them, and there they go, and then
Good
they don't know what happened.
good point. Chickens are uh what do you call it? They go through a chamber that anesthetizes them
Oh,
before their throats are cut.
well, that's nice.
Yeah, so they're compassionate as well. But I think your point is that do the animals themselves realize that things are compassionate?
That's one. And do the people who are doing it realize that it's a little bit weird to do that? Maybe it's not, but it seems kind of weird to me.
Well, I think the art on the walls might be a strange thing in a slaughterhouse.
It could be, but I suppose there's cow art out there
Could be. They might see photographs of their friends,
before they get shot in the back of the head.
You know, the uh, the other name for a slaughterhouse is an abattoir.
It is.
Yes, it is.
I never heard that term.
Well, you wouldn't hear it much. It's most people aren't talking about it, but it sounds a little better, doesn't it?
Say it again.
Abattoir.
Abattoir. Yeah, I guess. I mean, is that must be French or something,
I
right?
think there's a Frenchness to it. Yes.
And that means just any slaughterhouse.
Yeah, I think so to anyone. Yeah. Even well, let's say you pull a carrot out of the ground, right?
Hmm.
Does that hurt the carrot?
It might be screaming if you listen closely.
See, that's one of the faults I think with vegetarianism is that they don't take into consideration the feelings of the vegetables.
It's true. And then they boil them, they chop them up.
Yeah, yeah. Pull them out of the ground and just throw them around and put them in a big cart and pull them around, and then they wash them off maybe some places,
Yeah, generally.
and
So
then they chop them up. You see whole heads of of cabbage, and then you see cabbage bits on the same shelf. Now that cannot be good compassionate for the cabbage.
to have been turned into bits.
Yeah,
So
really.
here's a question that came to mind, which is if you are a compassionate beef slaughter buyer, what kind of car do you drive?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I think it's sort of a lifestyle, isn't it?
It's a what?
A lifestyle.
But what do you mean? What kind of car are they supposed to drive? Uh, Toyota Corollas?
Or Subarus, because Subarus are love.
Well, that's true. But the animals would, I mean, the owner might know that, I guess, if he watches ads on TV.
So, but yeah, and I mean, it's a whole other. There's all kinds of, do you have compassionately sheared wool for your sweaters, or do they care? They don't care.
No, the sheep don't care. They probably feel pretty good about it.
Getting a haircut once a
Yeah,
year, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
th-
I've seen photos of shearing. I mean, videos of shearing,
and
and
it's not.
it looks compassionate to me.
It's not mean. Not mean.
No, you don't think?
No. But I also wonder about, when they tag animals and stuff in Africa and all that, and they sneak up on them and they shoot them with a dart, and then they, implant a tracker in them, and they've been unconscious, for who knows how long, and then all of a sudden here they are again, and they I imagine they were scared at one point.
Don't they need some recovery time too? I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
well,
like regular people, people need recovery time after being anesthetized.
yeah. Although I think animals just get up, and that
Well,
once they
I've seen that too. They just hop up and run away.
and get the hell out of there because
But
they,
what about cows with the tags on their ear? That must hurt.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe not. Maybe not.
humans do piercing. That evidently doesn't hurt that much.
Yeah, we'll all have tags on our ears later. Anyway, moving along.
I think it's time.
uh, we were chatting off camera about our fifth grade teachers or our grade school teachers who we remember. And we thought, I remember my fifth grade teacher's name for some reason was Miss Hook, which
Look,
I thought, Hook, Hook, the funny name. Anyway, I thought she was really old. And she was, let's see, fifth grade, you're 10. She was probably maybe 30,
maybe
maybe
not even that.
maybe more, but probably not. And I thought she was really old.
Really old. Yeah. Well, Mr. Klotz, which I think we take typing in we took typing in the eighth grade, I think
Oh,
maybe.
that's late. You were an adult by then.
Maybe it was intermediate school. Um, and Mr. Klotz taught me typing. I thought it was, um, that at that time women just did that. And I never realized it was probably one of the most valuable classes I ever took.
Yeah, me too. I've that's all I've ever done since then is type like millions of words. I remember, and this is really an adult time when I was in the army. And then they knew I was a college graduate, but they didn't know what the hell that meant really. Didn't probably care except he's a college graduate. So they sent me to clerk school. And clerk school was learning how to fill out forms and stuff like that. But then it was typing as well. And they had rooms for typing. They must have had 50 or more typewriters in that room. And you had the old typing books with the lessons that you typed, and the big old Royal typewriters with ribbons and the whole thing. And you had to pound on the keys like crazy. And I could type the alphabet backwards as well as I could type it forwards, and I still can pretty well. But I mean, it's just totally been part of my life ever since. Well, since high school, yeah,
And a valuable skill.
very more
But
so than most.
So how fast could you type when you took the class?
At least 150 words a minute.
No.
Yes, and that was accurate and pounding, on those old keys. You had to really hit them because they flopped up and hit the paper. Most people have never seen one of these, but actually they did exist. They were more than just a keyboard. They,
Yeah,
they were
that's
actually
good.
actually you can't really see it, I guess.
It's very
But everybody
blurry.
everybody knows what a keyboard is. So
But so yeah, so you had ribbon, it had black and red. I remember there.
right,
And did you ever use carbon paper?
of course,
God, I hated that stuff.
it was terrible. Not only not only did you have to really pound on the keys, but you got ink all over your hands too when you handled the paper afterwards.
Yeah, and it never came out very good. Also, I remember I think our test at the end of the semester or something was to type a letter with no mistakes.
Yeah.
And the pressure was so unbelievable. I must have started that letter 40 times. And I got down to the end. I was just looking at it and hitting one key at a time to try to get through it to get it perfect.
And it was supposed to be yours truly, and you wrote you truly.
What? Yeah, or True Lee with an E.
Yeah. Uh, well, I not accurate anymore. My fingers are either too fat or the keys are too small or something like that. And I make a lot of mistakes, but all you got to do is backspace now,
Right.
and
But
uh, and everything's gone.
and typing on the phone, my phone anyway, is really hard
Oh yeah.
just to hit the right key. And I know I see people going, 100 words a minute
I'm sure
on
they
the
can.
phone.
I bet there's contests to see how fast kids can type
I don't
because
know
it's
how
not
they do
not
that.
adults, that's for sure.
Then the other, I remember um, Miss Chambers was my Latin teacher. And even though I was totally opposed to learning a dead language, it was probably the other most valuable course I had in junior high school.
That's true. My Latin teacher was the typical Latin teacher. She had a mole on her nose, and she sat in her chair on one of those rubber cushions. The little looks like a lifesaver, like a lifesaver, only it's rubber and it inflates. She made you stand up when she called on you, and she made you read if you want. I mean, she said to read, but if you couldn't read or couldn't translate it, you just stood there like seemed like 5 minutes before she said, "Okay, sit down." And but still, it was an extremely valuable course for learning uh, words, the origin of words, and how to
Yeah,
conjugate words.
absolutely.
Yeah, I remember Dad telling me you got to take Latin.
Yeah, I wonder if he did. He must have in high school.
May have, may have, but it's typing in Latin. How can those be the most important courses you ever took?
And then I was, and now we're getting into it. I remember I took shop, of course. Everybody had to take shop.
Yeah,
And we had, I don't know if it's supposed to be architectural drawing or whatever. And I got a C on my lettering. It wasn't any good. And then I went on to become an architect and somehow overcame that handicap
and a calligrapher.
and a calligrapher.
Yeah. Well, I was never either one of those things.
And there are a lot of people aren't either one or maybe one, but probably not both.
Well, I used to be a really good printer with my hand, writing, printing.
Hmm.
But all of that has deteriorated so much that I can barely print, and I certainly can't write script anymore.
I have to practice my name.
Yeah, my signature looks like just a lines of nothing.
Fortunately, it doesn't make any difference.
No, nobody cares about your signature. You sign the check, you sign the credit slip in a restaurant, you could put anything you want on there. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Fidel Castro.
Little
But you couldn't make it readable anyway.
little sketches of obscene gestures. You could do that,
Or just an X. They'd take an X. They don't care.
or political comments. We did
Yeah.
that when we were selling vodka in the farmers markets. We used the square system, and it gives you the screen. You sign it,
Yeah.
and I signed for most people because it didn't make any difference.
Well, where does that go anywhere? Anyway,
I don't even think that the processor looks at it.
no. How can they see anything? All I do is go make a wavy line.
It's true. So, is there anything more trivial we could talk about?
I don't think so. I think we've gotten to the very bottom of the trivia pile.
So,
But this is an age thing. We're the elderly brothers, and we we talk about elderly stuff, about stuff we've done, uh, a century ago, half century ago, anyway.
70. Well, if you see the picture on the front of our podcast, that's 77 years. Is that what we figured out?
Yeah, 77.
So, somebody wrote me and said, well, look at that. It still exists as an image. I wonder if all these photos you have on your phone will be there in 77 years.
I hope not. I'm going to burn my phone, I think. Well, anyway, let's say goodbye because I think we've done it today. I love you, my brother. We'll talk to you guys soon. Please check us out, review us, like us, subscribe, do all those things.
Talk to us, say something. I love you, my brother, for eternity.
Yes, love you, my brother. I don't like the eternity part.
Perpetuity. Sorry, that's what I meant
Perpetuity,
to
yeah.
say.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.